We are at number 11, approval of the minutes of the October 25th, 2021 board meeting. Ms. Huddle?
I move that we approve the minutes of the October 25th, 2021 board meeting.
Do I have a second? Ms. Moore seconds. Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those? That's 7-0. And next is public participation. The board welcomes and encourages public participation. However, the privilege of addressing the board does not include the ability to make personal attacks on any board member, district employee, or other member of the public. We respectfully ask that you adhere to the procedures and the decorum provided in Board Policy BEDH, public participation at meetings. Your comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Questions asked during public participation will be handled in accordance with Board Policy BEDH. And I would add that tonight, which is to me so much better, when you get to the, is it 1 minute when we showed Dr. Harris, is it 1 minute when they have left? Instead of it being just a little card that you can't really see, it's going to be up there. So that way it'll help you know your minute left. And I appreciate all of you that have been patient with this being so long, but it really was important things. Thank you. Okay.
Laura Carson of Irmo is here to speak about $50 Fridays.
Hello, my name is Laura Carson. This is my 13th year teaching, and this is my 7th year at Irmo, where I am a very proud Yellow Jacket. Unfortunately, I'm becoming a more senior veteran teacher at my school, much sooner than I really should be, because so many, too many, of my fellow teachers are leaving or retiring early from my profession. We need help, but $50 Fridays are not the way to help us. This new program you are planning to implement in January is a cheap bribe that is insulting. I would much rather have that extra money to pay subs more, because they're clearly not paid enough. All they have to do is go across the dam and they get $20 more a day. They tell us. I need there to be enough subs so that I can take my days off that I need to without feeling guilty about whatever other teachers are going to end up covering my classes. I would much rather you hire more staff. My department went from 13 social studies teachers to 8 with 2 long-term subs. We are stretched too thin, and we need more people in the building. I have seen too many vacant positions not be replaced at all, or not for a long time. Most importantly, I would rather have that extra money go to teachers who keep having to cover week after week after week other teachers' classes during their planning period. This is not hyperbole. I did not have a planning period today because I had to cover another teacher's class. I don't even know what tomorrow is going to bring. I have a friend who works in Florence too, who was insulted on my behalf that you do not pay teachers extra to cover their other classes. It's because they choose to do that with their ESSER funds. And if they can do it, so can you. I want you to think about this for a minute. $50 Fridays will incentivize teachers to come to work sick when they should stay home. $50 Fridays will incentivize teachers to compromise their mental health and increase their likelihood of burning out. Is this what you want? Do you want to foster resentment? Because I guarantee that will happen. I'm not here to feel guilty for using days that I have earned in my contract. Resentment is not a good strategy for teacher retainment. I promise you that. All I'm asking is this: value and respect me. Do not manipulate me. Thank you.
Bill Zobel.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bill Zobel. I am a community member of the Spring Hill SIC. I have been on that SIC committee for several years. Both my beautiful young wife and my daughter are graduates of District 5. Now, before anybody gets the wrong idea, I've been married to my beautiful young wife for 48 years. So District 5 has had a reputation for decades for excellence. Today we continue that. To brag a little bit about the SIC, or on behalf of the SIC at Spring Hill, we were recently rated the #2 magnet school in South Carolina. We've been rated by several national organizations as in the top 100 high schools in North America. And all this is indicative of the policies and the procedures and the staff and the teachers and the parent participation of District 5 who have made our students extremely successful. I'm also pleased to hear that we broached the situation of what's in our schools. Too often today we've seen our schools we've seen our school boards in national news for contentious issues. And I'm pleased that we live in a district that the school board and the superintendent and his staff and the staff at the schools listen to the parents and listen to the community and take actions. Nobody gets a single choice on what's done, but you listen to collective stuff. And finally, I'll finish with just a simple thank you. If you've paid attention tonight, there is a tremendous amount of work that has gone into just making this presentation and getting it ready both for the board and for the public and to share it with the community. And it is extremely important that those of us who do not sit on a board position or who do not work for the district offices understand just how much work and time and effort goes in, not just in these meetings, but behind the scenes. And on behalf of the students, the parents, and the community, and all of District 5, thank you.
Thank you.
Todd Grosh.
Good evening. We have amended the resolution recognizing parents' rights, stakeholder authority, and political participation. Whereas on September 29th, 2021, the National School Board Association asked Joe Biden to label parents domestic terrorists for questioning local school board policies. Whereas on September 30th, 2021, Joe Biden Education Secretary Miguel Cardona said parents shouldn't be the primary stakeholder in their children's education during his testimony before the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions. Whereas on November 8th, 2021, the South Carolina School Board Association withdrew its membership from the National School Board Association due to its actions. Whereas parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's lives to include education, whereas stakeholders, parents are responsible for what their children are taught, and whereas being responsible parents have the unalienable right to be a part of the political process with input regarding adopting policy in district school boards. Whereas Lexington-Richland School District 5 policy, KB states, the board believes it can impact student achievement by improving the quality and quantity of parent-family involvement in their education of their children. Be it resolved that Board of Trustees of Lexington-Richland School District 5 affirms that parents are the primary stakeholders and primary political participants in their children's lives by amending policy KB or creating new policy to state, 1, parents are primary stakeholders in their children's lives to include education. 2, as primary stakeholders, parents have the right to direct their child's education. 3, as primary stakeholders, parents have the unalienable right to be part of the political process with input regarding adopting policy in Lexington-Richland School District 5. 4, as primary stakeholders, parents make the healthcare decisions for his child unless otherwise prohibited by court order or state law. I believe the resolution was handed over to some of the board members, and we would appreciate if it was taken up and voted upon. And I would also like to thank Ms. Hines for bringing up the fact that there are questionable materials that are entering our district, whether it be state law says it's not supposed to or is, it is entering our district, and it's indicative that these books were bought at the one school. I believe they were titled, "This Book is Anti-Racist, 20 Lessons on How to Wake Up or Take Action." Thank you.
Thank you.
Alan Wright of Chapin.
I, Alan Wright, wholeheartedly agree with the resolution presented to this board that states parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's lives and future. Thank you for supporting this resolution and adopting policy that confirms parents are the primary stakeholders in their child's lives and futures. If you're with the parents, then you'll put the pen to the paper and you'll sign the resolution and you'll adopt it as policy. Per the South Carolina Department of Ed, social and emotional learning, or also doing business as critical race theory and back and forth racist material, is embedded in the framework, and it says it on the Department of Education. It's psychological, and the job of the district is to educate our children. It's not to raise them or rear them. And our teachers are not qualified mental health specialists, and this should not be put on them. As you can hear the teacher that just spoke. We need a full audit of our classroom materials to include textbooks, surveys, teachers' plans, supplemental materials, learning platforms. You have a responsibility to the children of this district, regardless of what South Carolina Department of Ed is approving for the state, and we are currently going through all of that stuff that's on there, and I would be ashamed if our district uses any of it. If we don't have enough people to vet, we need to figure out how to resource them, committees, volunteers. We have parents all over the state going through all those materials. We are connected, and we're going to put it out there, and we will be approaching our legislators. And again, we don't need to put this on our teachers, but I know it was said earlier that the teachers don't have time to read every book that comes in their classroom, but if we're not approving, if we're not vetting these materials, those are the ones that are slipping by. And a lot of it is racist curriculum, and it is causing division in family units and teaching our children to raise up against us, and it's shameful, and you can't even fathom it, and that's what our enemy wants. That's what he wants. He wants to divide us, and he wants to divide the family. And I seriously ask you that we really need to start doing better and start going through these materials that are in our classroom. We can't let this happen, and we need to do better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Celise Zaptowski.
Hello, I am Celise Zaptowski, and I wholeheartedly agree with the resolution presented to the board this evening that states that parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's lives and future. Thank you for supporting this resolution and adopting policy that confirms that parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's lives and futures.
Krista Sorrenti.
I, Krista Sorrenti, wholeheartedly agree with the resolution presented to this board that states parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's lives and futures. Thank you for supporting this resolution and adopting policy that confirms parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's lives and futures. I'd also like to take this opportunity to introduce myself as the Lexington-Richland 5 District Leader for Moms for Liberty. We just started a new chapter in Lexington County, If you're unfamiliar with Moms for Liberty, it is a 501(c) nonprofit national organization with 140 chapters, 32 states, and 60,000 active members. The organization's mission is to organize, educate, and empower parents to defend their parental rights at all levels of government. So basically, we are also working with United Parents of South Carolina. We also have a team looking through the curriculum for the next year, doing the public review. We're also supporting the resolution. I'm here standing here talking about it. And we're also working to support the Parental Bill of Rights that has just been announced. It's H4555. That is kind of what we're working on right now, but I just wanted to introduce myself and say hi and let you know that we look forward to working with you. And I also have I know we have a lot of negative going on right now, a lot of conflict and negative. I would like to say I had a very positive experience recently in D5 with Miss Huckabee and Miss Paschal. I might not be saying that right. I met with them. I had concerns. We talked about this earlier. We had some concerns, and they were wonderful. They sat down. I mean, they did it. We're going to meet on Monday. No, we'll go ahead and do it before the weekend. It was supposed to be phoned. We were there for the Veterans Day Parade. They had me come in with my husband. Very positive experience. We had a good time talking. We resolved everything. So there is positive in all this. So I just wanted to say that. And we look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Daniel Bourbon.
Good evening. I, Daniel Bourbon, wholeheartedly agree with the resolution presented to this board that states parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's lives and future. Thank you for supporting this resolution and adopting policy that confirms parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's lives and futures. I'd just like to touch on something with the vetting and things like that. For instance, my third grader is directed to Brain Pop, a platform that's used for, I guess, a supplemental learning. And he happened to be home one day, and one of his slides, I shouldn't have to explain to my third grader why white silence is violence. And there are signs on there saying, stop police violence, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. But again, I should not have to explain to my third grader why white silence is violence on a platform that is presented from the school. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ernest Floyd.
Good evening. I, Ernest Floyd, wholeheartedly agree with the resolution presented to this board that states parents are the primary stakeholder in their children's lives and future. Thank you for supporting this resolution and adopting policy that confirms parents are the primary stakeholder in their children's lives and future. So I have a problem with the whole SEL, the social emotional learning thing, because again, it may sound like something good, but at the same time too, you have to look at it of what is attached to it. It's one thing that we want to talk about dealing with children and emotional things of that, but just to read exactly what this here is proposed from, especially for something like Panorama, something that I talked about before, that basically that this here is all about, SEL is a vehicle to dismantle systemic oppression. And it also go on to talk about unconscious bias, systemic racism, and white supremacy. Now, I know that that you like to talk about, like, how's the children doing? Now, my concern about this right here is the children are not going to do well with such things as right here. Now, I believe personally that something like this right here, you're dealing with something like this, it should not be something that is really forced upon kids and being taught in a way that just really like dismantle a child. As I said before, that if you have a young child who is being told or being educated and taught in a way that because of the color of their skin that they will never understand exactly of how it feels just to be a black person, and so therefore they are automatically being pushed away and rejected and being told that they are bad. Now I know for you, for example, I'm pretty sure you have not got one you have got at because somebody handed it to you that you work hard for it. I work hard to where I'm at right now in life as well too. The one thing I feel that will be the worst thing to do for anybody at all is to tell them that because the color of their skin that they cannot get somewhere and that it must be handed to them. If anything at all, we should be teaching all our children, white, black, side by side, Asian, that whatever they want to do in life, that if they just work hard at it, that they should all succeed with it. It shouldn't be a privilege that's given to one and then this one over here that we are just going to ignore. I hate any kind of form of discrimination at all. But one thing I can tell you right now, as a black man, I will not stand aside and watch a white child get discriminated for because of the fact that they are white. I hate that. We can't talk about how we hate racism, but still, yeah, we are willing to allow it to be infiltrated into our school to tell other kids because of the color of their skin that they don't matter. We are all God's children. That's why we should raise them up and look at them. We should educate them with that. We should not have to bring in any type of outside doctrine into our schools to tell them that they have to behave this way towards this group, because if they don't, then they don't love nobody. Why can't we just tell them we love one another as God has commanded us? That should be our only message to them. I appreciate your time. God bless. Good night.
Thank you so much.
Renee Kelly.
I, Renee Kelly, wholeheartedly agree with the resolution presented to this board that states parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's lives and future. Thank you for supporting this resolution and adopting policy that confirms parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's lives and future.
Thank you.
Haleyriggs.
Hi, I, Haleyriggs, wholeheartedly agree with the resolution presented to this board that states parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's lives and future. Thank you for supporting this resolution and adopting policy that confirms that parents are the primary stakeholders in their children's lives and futures. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim Murphy. Okay, that's all.
That's it. Thank you to all the public participants, and we appreciate your staying with the information that was long, but our kids are important, and this has been a good meeting, so thank you.